According to most NBA fans, the 1990s were the golden era of the NBA. And during that decade, some of the best big men of all time showed us why playing with power, skill, and passion makes us jump out of our seats. Welcome to Basketball Fundamentals, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 NBA centers of the 1990s. For this list, we're only looking at stats and achievements between 1989-1990 and 1999-2000 seasons. We're basing our list on player stats, individual achievements, playoff success, international play, and NBA rings and finals appearances. Number 10. Arvydas Sabonis. Sabonis is recognized as one of the best European players of all time. He is considered one of the best big man passers, as well as one of the best overall centers in the history of the game. Sabonis was drafted by the Portland Trail Blazers in 1986. That same year, he suffered a devastating Achilles injury that took away some of his explosiveness and athleticism. If you watch the tape of young Sabonis, you can see just how dominant he was. Key moment for his future health took place in 1988 when Sabonis had an Achilles surgery but was rushed back on the floor with the Soviet Olympic team before a full recovery. Finally, Sabonis came to the NBA in 1995 at the age of 31. That year, Sabonis was selected to the All-Rookie First Team and was runner-up in both Rookie of the Year and Sixth Man of the Year votings. In 1997-98 season, Sabonis averaged 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists, all career highs. Bill Walton once called Sabonis a 7'3" Larry Bird due to his unique court vision, shooting range, rugged in-game mentality, and versatility. Number 9. Brad Daugherty. You might wonder why someone who put up 20 and 10 during the 90s can be this low on our list. Well, the only reason for that is because Daugherty's career in the NBA was cut short at the age of 28 because of back injuries. He only played 5 seasons during the 90s, and in 3 of those seasons he was selected to the NBA All-Star Game. He was a part of the great Cavaliers teams during the late 80s and early 90s that also featured Mark Price and Larry Nance Sr. In 1991-92 season, he averaged 21.5 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists, and led the Cavaliers to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they lost to the Jordan's Bulls in 6 games. We can only wonder how great Daugherty would have been if he didn't have to end his career at a young age of 28. Number 8. Rik Smits. Smits is the most successful Dutch player of all time. Listed at 7'4", he was one of the first stretch fives in the modern NBA. He was the second pick in the 1988 draft and spent his entire NBA career with the Indiana Pacers. Throughout the Pacers' playoff runs during the mid and late 1990s, Smits was considered the number 2 player behind Reggie Miller on the deeply talented Pacers teams. Smits was one of the most underrated players of that era, and the proof of that are the head-to-head battles he had with the elite centers of the time. Shaquille O'Neal included Rik Smits as one of the 4 players he feared when entering the league. They were Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, and the Dunking Dutchman. "Rik destroyed me every time," Shaq said. "Oh my god, pick and pop, jump hook in the post, I couldn't stop that kid. If it wasn't for his foot problems, I would probably never been able to stop him."
What would I do if I could reach inside?
Number 7. Vlade Divac. If you ignore all the flopping that Vlade did, he was actually a great basketball player. He is one of the greatest Serbian players of all time and one of the first Europeans to really make an impact in the NBA. Best known for his passing skills and leadership, he was the perfect glue guy for any team. In 1991, he reached the NBA Finals with Magic Johnson and the Lakers, but they eventually lost in 6 games against the Jordan's Bulls. In those finals, Vlade was the Lakers' leading scorer, and he averaged 18.2 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2.5 blocks. With the Yugoslavian national team, he won the FIBA World Cup 2 times. In 1996, he reached the Olympic finals, where he led his team to a close game before eventually fouling out and losing to Team USA, led by Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon, and David Robinson. In 1998, he signed for the Sacramento Kings as a free agent. With Chris Webber, Peja Stojakovic, and Jason Williams, he formed one of the most exciting teams in NBA history. Number 6. Dikembe Mutombo. Mutombo is commonly regarded as one of the greatest shot blockers and defensive players of all time, winning the NBA Defensive Player of the Year award 4 times. He was the 4th pick of the 1991 draft, and he made an immediate impact in the NBA, putting up 16.6 points, 12.3 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game during his rookie season and earning a spot on the Western Conference All-Star team. During the first round of the 1994 NBA playoffs, he helped the Denver Nuggets defeat the top-seeded Seattle Supersonics, the first time an 8 seed had ever won an NBA playoff series. A television shot of a crying Mutombo laying on the court and holding a basketball over his head after the series-clinching victory became one of the most iconic images in league history. Off the court, Mutombo was noted as one of the most charitable players to have ever played the game. He established the Dikembe Mutombo Foundation in 1997, which focuses on building hospitals and providing healthcare in Central Africa. Number 5. Alonzo Mourning. Mourning was one of the most dominant players during the 1990s. He was an undersized center, listed at only 6'9½", but he made it up with incredible energy and effort. Best known for his defensive presence, Mourning won the Defensive Player of the Year award 2 times. He was the 2nd pick of the 1992 NBA draft and started dominating right away, with averages of 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks. He finished 2nd to Shaquille O'Neal in the Rookie of the Year voting. Greatest moment of Mourning's rookie season came in Game 4 of a first-round playoff series against the Boston Celtics. His last second jump shot gave the Hornets a 104-103 victory in the game and a 3-1 victory in the series. In 1995, he got traded to the Miami Heat. Coached by Pat Riley and playing alongside Tim Hardaway and Jamal Mashburn, the Heat became one of the best NBA teams in years to come. In 2000, he got diagnosed with a kidney disease and had to retire for a few years, but eventually he got back on the court and won his only NBA ring with the Heat in 2006. Number 4. Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing is arguably the greatest Knicks player of all time. He was selected 1st overall in the 1985 NBA draft. Ewing's arrival came with tremendous expectations, and he didn't disappoint. He became the franchise's all-time leader in points, rebounds, blocks, steals, games played, and minutes played. Ewing and the Knicks made 2 finals appearances during the 1990s. In 1994, they lost a grueling 7-game series against the Houston Rockets led by Hakeem Olajuwon. In 1999, they miraculously made the NBA Finals as the 8th seed, but they couldn't handle the San Antonio Spurs and their Twin Towers, Tim Duncan and David Robinson. Ewing's lack of a ring hurts Knicks fans even to this day. Ewing is one of the most polarizing superstars of all time because, even though he was a great player, injuries and his usage on the court made him the scapegoat for so many of the Knicks' shortcomings during the decade. Number 3. Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq is one of the biggest NBA icons of all time. He was the 1st pick in the 1992 NBA draft, and he came in with a bang. No one could ignore the Big Diesel after he averaged 23.5 points, 14 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks in his rookie season. He was named the 1993 NBA Rookie of the Year and became the first rookie to be voted to the NBA All-Star Game as a starter since Michael Jordan in 1985. When Jordan retired in 1993, the Orlando Magic, led by Shaq and Penny Hardaway, became the team of the future. They were expected to dominate the league in the years to come. They reached the 1995 NBA Finals, but they faced a reality check when they got swept by the Houston Rockets, led by Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler. In 1996, Shaq signed with the LA Lakers, forming a dynamic duo with Kobe Bryant. Still, they couldn't get over the hump during the 1990s because they got embarrassed in the playoffs every single year. In 2 out of 3 seasons since Shaq's arrival, the Lakers got swept in the playoffs by the Utah Jazz and the San Antonio Spurs. Finally, they won their first ring together in 2000. Number 2. David Robinson. Based on his prior service as an officer in the United States Navy, Robinson earned the nickname the Admiral. He was drafted first overall in 1987 by the San Antonio Spurs, but he didn't enter the NBA until 1989-1990 season because he had to fulfill his active duty obligations with the Navy. He is one of the best athletes to ever play in the NBA. In his rookie year, he showed the Spurs that the wait was worthwhile when he averaged 24 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 blocks while winning the Rookie of the Year honors. He won the Defensive Player of the Year in 1992, was a scoring champion in 1994 when he scored a career-high 71 points in one game and became the league's MVP in 1995. Although Robinson won all the individual honors a player can dream of, he was still lacking the ultimate prize, an NBA ring. His luck changed in 1997 when the Spurs drafted Tim Duncan. Nicknamed the Twin Towers, Robinson and Duncan formed probably the greatest big man duo of all time. In 1999, they got their first ring together when they beat the New York Knicks in a 5-game series. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Number 1. Hakeem Olajuwon. In probably the greatest era of NBA big men, it takes a special player to be the best of the best. You could say that it takes a dream player to be number 1. Hakeem Olajuwon was nicknamed the Dream during college after he dunked so effortlessly that his college coach said it looked like a dream. Hakeem Olajuwon is number 1 on our list because he dominated the game in every way possible. From scoring, passing, defense, and leadership, he was head above the rest of the competition. In 1993-94, he became the only player in NBA history to win the NBA MVP, Defensive Player of the Year award, and Finals MVP in the same season. The Houston Rockets won back-to-back championships in 94 and 95 against New York Knicks and Orlando Magic. And those 2 years are the best example why Hakeem is the best center of the 90s. In 94, he beat Patrick Ewing in the finals, and in 95, he first embarrassed the 95 MVP David Robinson in the Western Conference Finals, and then in the finals he swept the Orlando Magic, led by a rising star Shaquille O'Neal. So there you go, the top 10 centers of the 1990s. Do you agree with our choices? Which players would make your list? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.